Okay, so I was planning on my next video to be power scale and another character who I won't be spoiling, but so this got sent to me via Twitter. Fucking, it was crazy, man. And it's a video called "Under the Scope: Top 5 Strongest Fate Servants," and it's a fucking mess, honestly. And so I got my buddy Zaksu here to talk with me about it because it's ridiculous. So you want to introduce yourself there?
Yeah, I'm Zaksu Senpai. It's your boy, the furry.
It's your boy, the furriest of furries. So
But no, I don't even scale fate, but even I'm just like,
yeah,
what is this?
yeah, he's another power scaling buddy of mine, and this is just gonna be an unscripted video. You know, unlike my Gil power scale, I'm probably not even gonna edit that much. It's just gonna be just us chilling, talking about a crazy video, things like that. So starting off the video, the guy under the scope, he started talking about like how it was a major spoiler warning, giving a little bit of filler and things like that. It was just like, whatever, who cares? And we're not even gonna talk about number 5 and 4 yet. We'll just talk about like the top of the video, because number 5 and 4 and like the honorable mentions are pretty crazy. But so number 1 was Gilgamesh. So I don't really have a problem with that.
He's fucking Gilgamesh.
Yeah, he's Gilgamesh. I just made a power scale on him. And he sort of used like the argument of like, oh yeah, the only reason he loses is due to plot and due to his being arrogant. And it's like, yeah,
That
whatever.
Isn't necessarily.
It isn't necessarily true, but he did get like plotted to death in Fate Stay Night, and it was actually even stated by the author. So yeah, Gilgamesh at number 1. I don't have any gripes there.
2.
Number 2 was Saber. Number 3 was Herc. And this is where I kind of start having an issue with it, but because like this Herc is really debatable on being below Saber, because there's a couple of things where like Herc like his inner monologue in Fate Stay Night said that he needed all 12 lives to fight Saber. And now whether or not that means that like Saber's Excalibur would take 11 lives or it would take all 12 or whatever, whoever you believe would win between Herc and Saber, that's not really aside from the point. The point is that like Saber's only real like advantage that she has over Herc is Excalibur. And other than that, Herc is a fucking monster, like she can't even hurt Herc for all it's worth, because God Hand. And like,
not to mention that, as we discussed, Herc is a berserker, and berserker is apparently his weakest class.
Yeah,
and he's out here just like mollywopping Emiya, Saber. He only even Gil stated that he might have actually lost had he not been trying to protect fucking what's her name,
Emiya, yeah.
Emiya,
Yeah. And like you said, fucking Herc's weakest class is a berserker. He's a fucking monster, dude. But and like, yeah, I whether like, do I think that Gil would beat Herc? Obviously, yeah, I think that Gil would fucking destroy Herc even if he wasn't defeating Ilya. But you gotta realize that like that
Gil
is the
got a little sweaty.
Yeah, and like that was like the closest thing that he gave to a compliment into anyone in like the first 2 animes. Oh, and before he says that like the video is going to be only taken into account the animes of no. He says that it's only going to be taken into account Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night, but like
He mentions the Heavensfield movies.
yeah, and
which, to my knowledge, hadn't come out at the time the video was made.
yeah,
So,
it was in like 2015, and like the movies were like in development and stuff, and like he mentions the Heaven's Feel movies, and he also doesn't really talk about the visual novel. He just or in the light novel of Zero, he just sort of talks about the animes. So for the most part, we're gonna be like talking only about the animes. And I might throw in a little bit of visual novel here and there, but for the most part, we're gonna be talking about the visual novels. I mean, and the animes. So, Herc, I think that overall he's a stronger servant than Saber. Saber, like like we said, Saber's only real advantage is Excalibur. So I would honestly, personally, I would put Herc above Saber, and that doesn't mean that Saber wouldn't lose to Herc in a fight. And he even says that in the fucking video. He's like, oh well, if a servant lost to another servant in combat, that doesn't necessarily mean that one servant is weaker than the other or whatever. And so like the same thing could be said about Herc, because like Saber only has Excalibur, and that's like all she has. Also, Herc has like an entire fucking route of the fucking visual novel like dedicated to beating him. Like he says specifically UBW and Fate Stay Night. Yeah. I mean, and Fate Zero, but like he mentions the Heaven's Feel movies, and so like if you're gonna, and he also says that Saber beat him 1-on-1, which she didn't. Like fucking in the Fate route, right? The whole Fate route is based on beating Herc. Like 95% of it is based on beating Herc. Right. And the only way that they beat Herc was because like fucking Emiya got himself fucking murked and like took 6 lives, and then Shiro projected Caliber and like then and then like Saber fucking shanked him with Caliber and killed him. Like that was whatever. Like sure, whatever, plot armor, but for the most part that was kind of believable. But like in the dead ends, when he doesn't use Caliburn, Herc kills Saber. Like, he beats them. Herc was fucking destroying them before he pulled out Caliburn out of his ass. Like, he was destroying them, and she did not beat him 1-on-1. And if he's ignoring the Fate Stay Night routes, why is he taking into account the Heaven's Feel route for Medusa? And
which hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, and why is he only talking about the UBW anime? And for the sake of the UBW anime, if like he's like, oh, those two specifically, sure, yeah, I guess, but Saber never fights him in the UBW route. I saw for the beginning, when at that point he was still kind of like no diffing them until Ilya fucking left because she was bored. Like Emiya's so, just
like, sitting there. He lived because this child
fucking
was like, this isn't fun. Let's go.
Yeah, like.
Meanwhile, Ren and Shiro are sitting here like shitting themselves.
Exactly.
Like, oh fuck! If they kept going, we would have gotten fucking yeeted.
Yeah, like. I'm a Fate power scaler. Obviously, I created a Gilgamesh, and Zoxu here isn't. But
I'm a bit versed in it a little.
Yeah, like he's watched the UBW anime, and I've shown him a couple of clips from Zero, so like that, like he understands at least UBW, right? And in the beginning of the UBW anime, when Herc fights them, Emiya wasn't doing shit to Herc, so it was basically a 1-on-1 from Saber and Herc, with like Rin getting bodied by Ilya, and then Shiro just sitting there watching, like, what the fuck is going on? And Herc was, like, Saber was kind of holding her own in close combat, but, like, for the most part, she wasn't doing anything to him in terms of, like, damage until she, like, used Mana Burst or Excalibur or whatever the fuck it wasn't Excalibur, but, like, a weakened Excalibur or Mana Burst or something, whatever the fuck she used against him. I think it was, like, Invisible Air or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, whatever she used that, like, blew apart, like, his entire torso, that, like, killed him once, and then he regenerated, and then Ilya fucking left. Like, that was all she did in terms of damage. So, like, I don't really think that Saber could beat Herc without Excalibur. So, overall, I think Herc deserves the 2nd place spot. Saber, 3rd place, maybe, sure, yeah, whatever. But it's numbers 5 and 4 that, and the honorable mention.
These are spicy.
Okay, and like, maybe at the end of the video I'll like do my top 5 servants, but like that's not really the point of this. I'm not really saying like, oh, the video was wrong, this is the proper list of top 5. Like, no, it's just more of like, why the fuck is Emiya number 5 on the list above, like,
why is he on the list
to begin with? Yeah, like, why is he on the list to begin with? Like, Emiya is fucking, he's fodder. Like, that's the whole point.
Like, Shiro, this, like this fodder ass high schooler kid.
Yeah, like, hold on, I'm gonna take a drink, hold on. And like, the whole point of Emiya is that like he's not that strong of a servant. He's an average servant at best. He just has UBW, which by itself is like, if you look at it, if you squint, maybe, yeah, sure, it's pretty cool, it's pretty powerful.
But
like,
it's just objectively worse Gate of Babylon.
Yeah, and like I know a bunch of you are gonna get salty in the comments, but UBW
don't
is
get
a
mad
hard
'cause
counter.
I'm a hardcore Emiya fan. I love Emiya. He's super fucking cool, but he's fucking trash.
Yeah, and like, yeah, he's cool as fuck. Like, he's like my top 10. He's in my top 10 favorite Fate characters of all time. Like, I don't know where he would be on it. Like, I've never put thought into it, but like, he's definitely like in my top 10, and he's fucking fodder. Like, he loses to like everyone. He lost to Herc. He was getting his ass handed to him by Cú.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about Cú in the honorable mentions.
Oh my god, dude. Hold on, before we get to Cú, let's just finish up about Emiya, okay?
No, actually, before we even get to the honorable, let's talk about 4.
Oh my god, dude.
Okay, so 4 was
Medusa. Writer.
Medusa.
So he says, like, he doesn't even explain why. He's literally just like,
Pegasus is... No, he low-key says that Medusa can tank UBW in Iskandar's Noble Fantasy.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So he says okay, so Medusa's really strong because you're just gonna say like, well, she lost to Soichiro Kuzuki, and yeah, she got like her ass handed to her like instantaneously in UBW, but like, she didn't only get her ass handed to her in UBW. Like, she's fucking fodder. Like, she and then he's like, well, in the UBW, I mean, in the Heaven's Feel route, she pops off, man. Like, she goes hard in the Heaven's Feel route. Again, but like,
which hasn't come out yet.
Like, the movies did, like, obviously the visual novel was out, but like, the movies hadn't come out yet. And like, Medusa, even in the Heaven's Feel route, isn't like that OP. Like, she's kind of whatever. It's been a while since I've read the Heaven's Feel route, so I don't exactly remember what happened in it, but like, for the most part, like, she's not really that relevant to the plot, and like, she's fucking fodder. Like, her Bellerophon, not gonna lie, is pretty strong. Like, there's a scan in I believe it's Fate Extella Link, one of the video games, where it says like it's as strong as a comet, which is pretty damn strong, Which
it is strong, yes, until he mentions that it is as strong or at least equal to fucking Excalibur.
Yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, well, it's comparable to Excalibur. And I'm like, and it's just like,
no, it's not.
What? Excuse me? Because like, in the Fate route, Saber literally uses Excalibur on fucking Ryder when she uses Bellerophon. I don't remember if it kills her or not. Like I said, it's been a little bit since I've read the visual novel, but I think it does. I think it actually does kill her, but regardless, it beats Bellerophon. Like, it beats the Pegasus. So, it's not that strong. And it's not even that fast. Like, it is really fast, not gonna lie. It's faster than Saber's reaction time. Or Saber under Shiro, because, she's weaker than base Saber. But, she uses it against Saber and kind of like knocks her teeth in with it. Like, she fucking starts mollywhopping Saber with Bellerophon. But once Saber uses Excalibur, the fight fucking ended. Yeah, like, the fight ended right then and there. Like, Medusa got fucking demolished by Excalibur. And like, if you're gonna say that like she's stronger than Iskandar, who dodged Excalibur point blank, yeah, like at like point blank range, yeah, no, and like, he said that he wanted to like keep the list to strictly Fate Stay Night servants because he thinks that they're all overall more powerful than Fate Zero. But like, Medusa is nowhere near Excalibur. I mean, not Excalibur, nowhere near Iskandar in terms of fucking power. So on that note, I'm gonna get to the honorable mentions. And okay, so I actually don't really remember where we were. Something happened, so we had to cut it out, but it's whatever. So somewhere along the line we were talking about Iskandar, and Iskandar is a fucking beast. Like, he's... Oh, right, that's what it was. The guy mentioned that, like, the Fate Zero servants were all overall way weaker than Fate Stay Night, and that's just false. Like, Gilgamesh, much more powerful than Emiya and, like, any of the Fate Stay Night servants. Saber is literally just a stronger version of herself. Lancelot is a fucking beast. Like, he would mollywop Medusa unless she busted out Bellerophon and things like that. And it's just like overall Fate Zero's casts are all monsters, you know. And he's like, oh well, the Fate Zero masters would obliterate the masters in the Fate Stay Night. And I think that that's actually arguably even worse. Like, Rin and Ilia alone are really, really strong mages. Like, Ilia fodderized Rin, who is a top tier mage by herself.
And Rin, in the scene where she's fighting Shiro's literally just like ducking and like hiding behind desks like, no, I cannot fight this woman.
Yeah, no. And like Rin is also the same girl that killed Heracles. Like, she took one of his lives. Like that alone is like a monster of a feat. And like if you do like a scenario of like, oh well, all of the Fate Zero masters go up against the Fate Stay Night masters, yeah, sure, I still think that like the Fate Zero masters would win, just because like Kiritsugu is a fucking beast. Kiritsugu would probably like snipe them and things like that. And like for the most part, the Fate Zero masters are all just like the Fate Stay Night masters are all just a bunch of high school kids. And you know, so
one
like
of them doesn't even have like actual like magic capabilities.
Yeah. But overall, it's just like Kirei is a beast. That's true. Kirei is an absolute monster. But like, overall, it's just like Ilia and Rin are just really fucking strong. But that's aside from the point. So, Iskandar dodged Excalibur point blank range. That's just irrefutable. That literally happened, you know. And it's just like, how do you counter that, you know? He dodged Excalibur at point blank range, which Medusa. So yeah, that's irrefutable. That's irrefutable. You just can't say that didn't happen. It did. He dodged it at point blank range, and like Bellerophon couldn't do that. Like, no matter how powerful it was, she didn't dodge it, and it also was less in power than Excalibur. And while Bellerophon might, in emphasis on might, be stronger than Iskandar's chariot, because Iskandar's chariot kind of got like blown the fuck up when it got hit by Excalibur, he's still faster than Medusa by like quite a bit, you know. And also he was blocking the Gate of Babylon, which even Saber couldn't do, you know. So you wanted to say something?
Oh yeah. Okay, so since we've mentioned Cú, Lance, and Iskandar, these are the honorable mentions.
Yeah. So it was Lancelot, Cú, and Iskandar, and all of them are fucking like, why? Why are they honorable mentions?
Why are they not? Cú especially. He literally has the Omega Gaebulg.
Yeah, Gaebulg is it's a monster of a weapon, and I was mentioning to you earlier before we started recording that the lore of it is that basically it deals a flat amount of damage that is equal to your maximum amount of HP, like, well, quote unquote HP, plus whatever damage it does itself. So the way that it works is, let's say that Gaebulg does 100 damage. It deals 100 damage plus however much your HP is. So it even goes through God Hand because it's just that powerful, even though it's less than an A-rank Noble Phantasm. So it's an insta-kill to basically everyone who doesn't have like luck and instinct powers to dodge it. So
which Saber only survived because she had.
Yeah, like Saber only survived it because she had luck and like, yeah, that luck and instinct. Other than that, you know, Gaebulg is pretty much unavoidable. And the Throne Gaebulg is a fucking nuke for all that it's worth, you know, like Ro-Ias, a shield designed to counter projectile weapons, blocked against it and was broken by the Throne Gaebulg, and then still had enough power to exhaust Emiya of like all of his magic and obliterate pretty much his left arm to the point where he couldn't use it anymore. He lost his arm and needed to go regenerate it, and Emiya was like, oh shit. Even Emiya was like surprised.
So like, even speaking of Emiya said numerous times throughout UBW, he cannot beat Cú at all. Like even their first fight, he was mostly just stalling.
Yeah, like I don't remember, you know, like the exact quotes or anything like that, but like if I remember correctly, like he does kind of just look at Ku and is like, "Oh yeah, I think I got this?" Question mark, question mark, question mark, and then like he fights, and then he's just like, "Oh, whew." Like if that fight kept going, I would have died. Like if Shiro didn't intervene and like Ku went, yeah, and like Ku went to go fucking murk his ass, like Emiya probably would have died. And like, and the thing is though, like, and he, he uses the point of like, oh, just losing to somebody doesn't mean that you're more powerful than them. But like, I think that's pretty blatant with Ku, because like Ku
again, insta-kill
Gabolg, obviously, and like the throne Gabolg is a fucking nuke. Well, I obviously technically I don't know if it's actually a nuclear power, but like whatever, it's a fucking bomb, and but like against Emiya, round 1, he was nerfed. Ku was nerfed by a command spell to make him not go his full power and to not use his Noble Phantasm. So, okay. So, against his first fight, they were about even. Emiya was, like, on the defensive, but, like, he wasn't so on the defensive to the point where it was, like, a stomp. And like, Ku was still winning. Well, like, no, they were going about even. Ku maybe on the little bit of the advantage. And then Emiya intervened. And then in their second fight, Ku was no longer under like the influence of the command spell to like not go all out, but he then proceeded to like tell Rin, yeah, Rin, I won't kill him for you, I'll leave him alive so you can keep your baby Emiya, or whatever the fuck it was, like he purposely let Emiya live, and he, while trying with no killer intent, was obliterating Emiya. Like, the fight is a little bit closer in the visual novel. In the visual novel, it seems a little bit closer than what it was in the anime. But
in the anime, it was just an outright curb stomp.
Yeah, it was a fucking curb stomp. Like, Ku was like, okay, yeah, fine, I'll kill you. And then, like, he vanishes and, like, does, like, a fucking afterimage technique. And Emiya could barely react to it. Like, he was like, oh, shit. Like, he couldn't even barely dodge the first attack, and this was him without killer intent. Like, Ku's a beast, and like, how did he? And no, this is also the guy that, like, I don't mean to sound like a Gilgamesh cock gobbler or anything like that, but he survived against Gilgamesh for 12 hours straight. Like,
fucking Gilgamesh.
How? Emiya could not survive against fucking Gilgamesh for 12 hours straight. He wouldn't. That's just impossible, Like, he might arguably win, whatever, because of personality and yada, yada, yada. But, like, if Gil was trying, there is no way he would have lived for 12 hours, right? Yeah. Emiya's fucking fodder. And Ku is a beast. So, like, why is Emiya above Ku? And, like, Ku compared to Ryder, Ku is a monster compared to Ryder. Like, what the fuck does Medusa have to counter Guy Bolg, And actually, I don't mean to fucking bring in like side sources and stuff, but like in Prisma Ilia, Bazette, who has a my girl Bazette, Bazette scale coming soon, not the next one, but soon. But Bazette, my girl, she has do you know what Froggerok is?
Yeah.
Okay, so
we talked about this.
Yeah, so Froggerok is basically essentially the same thing as Guy Bolg. There's a little bit of differences between like the reverse of cause and effect, and like it goes back in time, but overall it functions the same way. It pierces your heart, and it's like irreversible. It's unavoidable. Bazette fought against Miyu, who was using Bellerophon, or the Medusa install card. And Bazette fucking murked her. Like, Bazette like instantly killed Miyu. And the only reason why Miyu even lived is because if you die when you have the card installed, you don't actually die. Like, the heroic spirit dies first. So like, there you go. It's basically Ku versus Ryder right there. Fucking Ku stomped. There you go. And oh boy, Iskandar.
The boy.
We mentioned him a little bit already, but Iskandar is like, really strong. Like, his biggest trump card obviously is the Ionia Hetairoi, which has tens of thousands of soldiers, so between 20 to 190,000. Because if it was just 10,000, it would be 10,000. If it was like 200,000, he'd say like hundreds of thousands. So it's somewhere between 20 to 190,000. Just for the sake of argument, let's say 50,000. He has like 50,000 soldiers, right? 50,000 soldiers, each of them who are heroic spirits, some of which are stronger than he is. The only downside to this Noble Phantasm is that the soldiers themselves hold up the reality marble, so it isn't Iskandar's mana, which, first of all, that's really good. So it's like Iskandar gets to conserve his mana, but on the other hand, if enough soldiers die, the reality marble will collapse. So, whatever. Yeah. But that does not amount to, like, the amount of upside that the fucking reality marble has, because, like, 50,000 soldiers is a lot of soldiers, especially when some of them are stronger than Iskandar.
So the Hassan of, like, 100 heads, I believe it is.
Yeah, Hassan of 100 faces.
In Zero, saw him whip that out. It was just like, GG.
GG no re.
Give me the L, please.
Like, she looked at him, or they, whatever the fuck, you know.
Literally just stood still.
Gave up.
Arms to their side. Just come on.
Just gave up. Like, there's no countering it, you know. It's there's obviously
fucking Gilgamesh.
Yeah, like,
had to pull out Aya immediately. Like, okay, no games, let's go.
Yeah, and like some people might argue, like, oh well, you know, he used Aya against Iskandar because he found him worthy. He didn't actually need Aya, and like, sure, I guess you can make that argument, but also just at the same time, there is no debating the fact that he didn't even try to use the Gate of Babylon. Like, he could have destroyed his dream by just blade spamming 50,000 blades, because like he has above 50,000 blades, and he can open up that many if he wanted to. So why didn't he? He instantly pulled out Aya and was like, yeah, no, I need to break your dream, you're gonna fucking die, and then used Aya. Like, and then if you want to say, like, oh, well, he was worthy of Aya, well, yeah, but, like, he fucking used the Gate of Babylon against Iskandar. Like, against Iskandar himself. Like, he didn't actually use Aya against Iskandar when he was one-on-one. He used the gates. So, you know, it kind of contradicts the point of, like, oh, well, he found it worthy and everything. Like, yeah, no. The Ionia Hetairoi is basically unstoppable, you know, unless you have something really powerful like Gilgamesh. Yeah. And, like, he also says that, like, Saber could counter the Ionia Hetairoi with, like, Excalibur.
But he also mentions that Emiya could counter or neutralize her. And he makes this really weird point that contradicts itself, that everybody on the list can neutralize each other, so there's no reason for the list to be in the first place.
Yeah, it's like he says that like UBW neutralizes the Gate of Babylon, which in essence it does, but also it doesn't, because UBW is based on sight. Yeah, so
like right after that he mentions that every servant above him
neutralizes UVW.
So which is
like, what? Yeah, it's like a double negative. But he says that Bellerophon can counter the Ionia Hetairoi, which is like, what? Like, how the hell does that counter the Ionia Hetairoi? He would just fucking use his own chariot, you know? Yeah. Which, like, it may be like I said, maybe his Bellerophon is kind of stronger, but that's whatever. They're roughly equivalent, you know, for the most part. They're both really strong. They're both weaker than Excalibur. But Iskandar by himself is way fucking faster than Medusa. Like, he dodged Excalibur at point blank range.
No.
Yeah, no.
So another thing we talked about a lot and we're like really upset over, even more possibly than the Iskandar thing, was Medea.
Oh, dude, yeah, dude, Medea wasn't even mentioned. Okay, and do I think that she's
like
not even in the honorable mentions? 8? Like, yeah, it was like top 8, and like fucking like he thinks that like Lancelot is, or excuse me, I need to cut that out. Fuck. He thinks that Zero Berserker is stronger than Medea, and Zero Berserker is is not. Like, he's really skilled. He's kind of strong, but for the most part, he's just kind of comparable to Saber in terms of like physical strength and stuff like that.
Like, I haven't watched much of Zero, but wasn't even he like kind of swapping hands with Gil and kind of like making him sweat a little?
It wasn't really that. It was more of like Gilgamesh threw like 2 swords and spears at him, and then like he like caught one and like did some fucking Kirito type shit and like spun around and like deflected them out of the air. Like, and Gilgamesh was just like, "You dare touch my shit? Oh, I'm gonna fucking murder you." Like, he didn't actually like get Gil sweating. It was more of just like he got Gil mad. But other than that, like, he doesn't really have any feats. He's just really, like, he fought Saber and he lost. And it was just like, he can't even use Arandite, which, and the guy does mention, yeah, he would be better as a Saber, which is true. But overall, Lancelot is not stronger than Medea. Now, do I think Medea would make top 5? That's debatable. Maybe like number 5. Like, I think that Iskandar, Cú, Saber, Berserker, and Gil are all stronger. So like maybe and Herc, yeah. I said Berserker. They're all stronger than Medea, but like she definitely deserves like number 6 or number 7, because like Medea is a monster. Like, it's just, she's unstoppable. Again, I don't really like to bring up, secondary sources, but like in the Brilliaverse, like Shadow Medea was getting ready to blow up her entire mirror world, which contained like multiple city blocks and the Fuyuki Bridge. She was getting ready to blow up all of that. And now note, shadow servants are weaker than installed servants, which are weaker than the original servants in the Brilliaverse, which are then weaker than the Nasuverse servants. And this is like the weakest possible Medea getting ready to blow up her entire mirror world. So it's like, it's really strong. Also, fucking, do you want to talk about how like she loses every single fight and like that people like to use that against her? So
just because a character loses a lot doesn't mean okay.
He says it himself. Yeah. He said
just because a character is stronger than another doesn't mean, or beats another character doesn't mean that character is necessarily strong. Which I'm like, yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
but like as like a hardcore like Yamcha stand,
yeah,
like. Just because he loses a lot and gets, like, fodderized by these, like, super OP characters, like fucking Cell and Goku and, like,
Yeah,
like, Yamcha's low-key a monster, though.
Yeah, Yamcha's a fucking beast.
We might get used out.
Yeah. We might collab and do a Dragon Ball Power Scale one day, but not now. But yeah, so like the point is like, yeah, Medea is sort of like the Yamcha of Fate Stay Night, because she loses everything. She loses against Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh fucking destroyed her in the Fate route, to the point where like she was like begging for her life, dude. And in the UBW route, which is what he primarily used, she lost to Emiya because Emiya was just sort of like Batmaning her. Like, Emiya didn't really beat her in terms of raw power, and in fact, Emiya was kind of losing. Emiya just kind of like, oh, haha, all according to Keikaku, I've had my 18 million step plan planned out, so that way you can fall into my trap, and I've activated my trap card. Like, Emiya, like, fucking, like, Batmaned her, and so it wasn't really like she lost due to, like, raw power. And also, it's just like, she's not weak. Like, why? No. Why would you say that she's weak? In fact, she's strong enough to summon another servant. So
and keep him alive for multiple weeks, I believe.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks, if I remember correctly. It was like 2 weeks, 15 days, somewhere around there. And so yeah, so like she kept the servant alive around like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, because Assassin died or whatever.
Which even then he was able to like confidently swap hands with Saber
and every other servant in the world.
Almost won.
Yeah, and like Sasaki Kojiro is a beast, man. Boy, my boy. But and Medea is like, and another thing that a lot of people like to say about Medea is that like, oh well, she needs a bunch of mana to be able to do all of her really strongest attacks, when that's not actually true. she needed all of the mana in Fuyuki or whatever it was to be able to spam her strongest attacks. That's what she needed to do. She can do them without all of the mana in Fuyuki. She just can't spam it. And so, like, that proves how much of a monster she is. Like, she can use her grand magic over and over again if she has enough mana. But, like, in, like, her base form, I guess you want to call it, like, with no mana, she can still use it, like, once or twice, maybe. And, yeah. And also, against Gilgamesh, like I said, Gilgamesh fodderized her in the Fate route, but, like, against Gilgamesh, Shiro, like, yeah, sure, it's a statement from Shiro, but, like, Shiro says that she creates a shield roughly equal to Berserker's body. You know, Berserker's body, the thing that has God Hand, the thing that can only be beaten by A rank or above attacks.
Which, again, going back to her, as we talked about before we started recording, that his lowest stat is B rank.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, it's in mana too. Yeah. Like I don't have like his stats like listed like right here on me, but like if I remember correctly, I think that his lowest stat is in mana and it's B rank. Yeah, Herc is just a monster, and so is Medea. Medea definitely deserves like 6th place or 7th place or whatever. And yeah, and like this recording is like a little over half an hour long, so we're probably gonna wrap it up soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this list is fodder. So here I'll give like my top 5 servants if I really want to. I think like number 1, obviously Gil. You're pretty sure you don't have any complaints about that. Number 2, probably Herc. You can wank Saber to maybe number 2, but like Herc is more confidently number 2.
At least he has a lot more he can do. And
yeah,
a lot more part of his kit than
just Excalibur.
Girl with sword.
Yeah, like she doesn't really have any. Oh, but in number 0, I guess if you want to call it number 0, is Saber with Avalon. We're not really taking into account that because she can't even be summoned with Avalon in the first place. I don't know why he included that in the list, but yeah, Saber with Avalon is like number 0. Number 1 is Gil. Number 2 is Herc. Number 3 is probably it's either Cú or Saber in my opinion, because Cú is a fucking monster as we mentioned earlier, and actually no, number 3 is probably Iskandar. Yeah. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about Iskandar. Number 3 definitely Iskandar, because he's just like not like any servants can counter like 50,000 soldiers. You know, 50,000 is a big number, like. It's a really big number. Like, no matter how many Excalibur beams she shoots out, Saber is going to eventually get overwhelmed unless she kills Iskandar. But
again,
Iskandar dodged Excalibur. So it's like...
It doesn't even matter. Plus, again, some of those soldiers he summons is stronger than he is.
Yeah, some are even stronger than he is. So it's like... She's eventually going to get overwhelmed. So Iskandar is really strong. There's like no way to counter the Ionio Hitairoi. You need something comparable to Ea or the ability to kill every single fucking soldier at the same time. And if I remember correctly, even in like the light novel, Iskandar, like when he's thinking about what he's going to pull out against Gil, or what Gil is about to pull out against Iskandar, he's like, is he going to use a huge gigantic anti-army Noble Phantasm to be able to defeat all of the soldiers at once, or is he going to use a single target Noble Phantasm to just try to take out the head, and that's all that they needed to do? So like that's like the only real way to counter it. Like you either kill everyone at once or you kill Iskandar, and not a lot of servants can do either, you know.
Yeah, which is why, because we just watched the whole thing actually, that Gil didn't even didn't do either of those. He simply just attacked the marble itself, killing most of the soldiers.
Yeah, he literally just blew up the reality marble. Like he just like erased the thing from existence, and most of the soldiers just kind of fell into a fissure and died. And yeah, he just kind of erased the reality marble. So number 4, probably either Saber or Cú, in my opinion. Both of them really, really strong. Both are beasts. Cú has a little bit more of a kit than Saber does. Saber, she really only has Excalibur.
Like a more reliable kit.
Yeah. Gaibolg, everyone's gonna meme like, oh, it misses all the time, but like it only misses when plot demands it to miss. For the most part, it should pretty much always hit. And the Throne Guy Bulg is a beast of a move. Like, it broke through a shield designed to counter projectile weapons. There's not... Yeah, that's a real yikes. There's nothing you can really say about that. Now, who would win between Saber and Cú? That is a discussion for another day, because I actually was planning on debating somebody about that, because somebody thinks that Saber would win. I'm not gonna say my stance on it, but I'm in favor of the doggo, yeah. But I'm in favor of best doggo. But overall, I think that Cú is a little bit more well-rounded than Saber is. Saber's more of a one-trick pony, whereas Cú is like... His
one trick is really fucking good.
He's a one-trick doggo, but that also has a few other tricks. So I don't know. Maybe number 4 is Cú. Maybe number 4 is Saber. Who knows? Excalibur is... Yeah, and then Medea is like number 6. Maybe number 7. I can't really think of anybody more powerful than Medea, honestly. Other than the people that we mentioned before. Like, 100 Faces, nowhere near as strong. Deer Mood, nowhere near as strong. Yeah, like, Medea is a beast, you know? Like, Emiya, maybe, like, number 7, I guess, if you want to wank UBW. Like, but even then, like, it's really debatable. It's, like, whether he's stronger than something like Deer Mood, you know? Or, like, he's definitely stronger than 100 Faces, because 100 Faces, like, divides her power whenever she splits into a new person. But, like, Deer Mood is, like, the second strongest fucking Lancer from Ireland, if I remember correctly. Like, he only rivaled by, like, Cú, and I guess Skahawk, but we don't really count her. And, like, Deer Mood's a beast. Sasaki Kojiro's a beast. Sasaki Kojiro even beat Emiya, which is canonical, you know.
Wasn't that something we talked about before recording, that he canonically beats everybody?
Yeah,
including fucking Herc.
Yeah. Herc, he had assistance. He beat Herc by he had Medea's gravity magic weighing down Herc's body. But, like, that's it. There's, like, no statements that, like, he, like, did anything, that Medea did anything else in terms of helping. But, like, he beat Herc with, like, slowed down by gravity magic. Like, that's his only debuff. And he beat Herc. He didn't kill him, but, like, he won. He won the fight. Also, that's another plus for fucking Medea. Like, she has gravity magic that can weigh down Herc. And, like, Medea's just a monster, you know. And yeah, so overall, this is almost 45 minutes long, so the list is a joke. And yeah, I know it was made in 2015. It was before Apocrypha. Also, holy shit, I can only imagine what the list. I can only imagine what the list would be like if it had Apocrypha, you know, because like there would be like people like Achilles, Karna. Like, imagine if you put Emiya above fucking Karna or Achilles or something. And so yeah, the list came out like 2 years before Apocrypha did, and the Heaven's Field movies didn't even come out yet, and so yeah, like it only really took into account UBW and Zero, and you know, so it's a bad list. If you're watching this, which you're probably not, whatever your name is, what the fuck is the name? It was like
Under the Scope.
Under the Scope, yeah. If you're watching this Under the Scope, I'm not trying to like come at you or anything like that, but like you mentioned that you were just on the wiki. Don't get on the wiki for hours on end just to try to like scale a character. Please, just like, you can even just ask me, you know. You can DM me on Twitter, on Discord or something. I'm a pretty prominent Fate scaler. And yeah, like you completely ignored Medea, and Lancelot is nowhere near as strong as Iskandar or Cú, and like you even said like in the video, if I remember correctly, you're like swapping them around, like you said,
you said that they were interchangeable.
Yeah. He said like they were interchangeable, and it's like, what? You think that like Medea is interchangeable with Cú, or not Medea? You think that like Medusa is interchangeable with Cú? And that's just like, that's not the case, you know.
And Iskandar.
Yeah, and Iskandar. But if you want to debate me, you know, feel free. I'll give you my Discord. DM me. Make a comment on this video or whatever. You know. I'll definitely take your stance. I'm not trying to be disrespectful with this video. Nothing like that. And like I may have sounded like that when I said like, you know, the video's a joke. But like it's it's not good in terms of scaling or things like that. Like Emiya he's fodder, dude. He's trash. And again, he's like my top 10 favorite characters, dude. But maybe even top 5, maybe. But yeah, so Under the Scope, if you're watching, thanks for watching. To everyone, thanks for watching. And you want any closing words, Zaksu?
Nah, it's the furry boy. We're done here.
All right. So here. Thanks for watching. Don't trust Sei Haikun, and I'll see you next time.